Okay, it is now 10:38 a.m. and I would like to call to order the meeting of the Building and Operating Committee of October 23rd. Before we begin, please note this meeting is being recorded. Welcome to everyone joining us here in person, as well as those listening in on the phone. You would like to provide public comment at today's meeting, and if you have not already done so, please do ask Thomas in the back of the room or Justine on the call-in line to know that what items you would like to speak on today. Madam Secretary, please begin by calling the roll.
Thank you. Good morning again, everyone. Director Devlin?
Here.
Giudice?
Here.
Matson?
Here.
Farr?
Present.
Rabbit? Is absent. Vice Chair Rodoni?
Present.
Chair Garbarino?
Present.
And President Cochran.
Here.
Thank you. Yes, forum, and you are actually a committee of the whole. We still have in the room Directors Hernandez, Hill, Snyder, and Parrish.
Wonderful. Thank you again, Amaret. Please follow along by referring to the page numbers located on the bottom right-hand corner of your meeting packet. And we will begin with agenda item number 5. Oh, 5. I'm checking these glasses again because I can't see the clock either. Item number 3. Sorry, which is to approve actions relative to contract.
Here, Patty.
Number 2025 B052 Golden Gate Suspension Bridge Seismic Retrofit Contract 1 - North and South Towers and North and South Side Spans to Hallmark International LLC. The staff report begins on page 3. And John Ellerby is here to present the report. John, please begin your report.
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair Garbarino, members of the committee. Here this morning to recommend that the Building and Operating Committee recommend that the Board of Directors approve following action relative to contract number 2025 B052 Golden Gate Suspension Bridge Seismic Retrofit Contract 1 North and South Towers and North and South Side Spans as follows. Number 1, authorize award of contract number 2025 B52 Golden Gate Suspension Bridge Seismic Retrofit Contract 1 North and South Towers and North and South Side Spans. Hallmark International LLC, New York, the amount of $863,949,008, subject to Golden Gate Bridge Highway and Transportation District receiving California Department of Transportation and Federal Highway Administration's approval of the award recommendation prior to contract execution. Number 2, authorize a construction contingency budget for contract 2025 B52 in the amount of $41,350,000 upon receiving Caltrans and FHWA concurrence with the award recommendation. And also approve a fiscal year 25-26 capital budget increase for project 2520 Golden Gate Suspension Bridge Towers and Side Span Seismic Retrofit Construction in the amount of $141,726,000 from district reserves for total project 2520 budget of $1,011,726,000. And amend the fiscal year 25-26 Bridge Division capital budget accordingly, subject to concurrence from the Finance Auditing Committee at its meeting later this morning. On October 17, 1989, the Loma Prieta earthquake struck in Santa Cruz Mountains. 6.9 magnitude earthquake responsible for 63 deaths, over 3,700 injuries, and over $6 billion in property damage in the Greater Bay Area. That epicenter was 60 miles south of the bridge, and the bridge did not suffer any damage. But the district performed a vulnerability study after the earthquake that concluded the bridge would experience severe damage if a earthquake of the same magnitude were to occur, at the same magnitude as Loma Prieta to occur with an epicenter near the bridge itself. So after the study, the district embarked on a program to seismically retrofit the bridge withstand a maximum credible earthquake, which was determined to be 8.3 magnitude on the Richter scale, centered just off the coast of the San Andreas Fault. The program began retrofitting the most vulnerable portion of the bridge, 1999, the North Approach Viaduct, progressed for the south approach viaduct structures, south pylons, the south anchorage house, the north pylons, north anchorage housing. So the Golden Gate Suspension Bridge is the remaining portion of the bridge to be retrofitted, and what I'm here to discuss today. On July 27, 2018, the Board of Directors approved the use of the construction manager, general contractor, CMGC procurement method for procuring construction of the Golden Gate seismic retrofit, which was previously called Phase 3B, the suspension bridge. CMGC procurement method is a project delivery method in which a construction manager, the CM, is chosen to provide pre-construction services during the design phase of the project, and if agreed to by the parties, construction services as a general prime contractor during the construction phase of the project. In April 2019, the Board of Directors authorized the establishment of a project 1923 Golden Gate Suspension Bridge Seismic Retrofit Pre-Construction. This allowed the district to fund the final design of the project utilizing the CMGC procurement method. On February 23, 2024, the Board of Directors authorized execution of a professional service agreement with Palomar International to act as the CMGC, and also authorized execution of a PSA, professional service agreement, with Leland Saylor Associates to do independent cost estimating during the pre-construction, and also authorized HGR Engineering to continue with the engineering design services to finalize the project construction documents and assist the district in establishing construction price and schedule for the project. Since March of 2024, the project team, with oversight from FHWA and Caltrans, has been performing the pre-construction services, working toward finalizing the design plans, specifications, and cost estimate for performing the work. As discussed at previous committee meetings, the construction for the Golden Gate Suspension Bridge has been divided into two different contracts. Contract 1 for the suspension bridge towers, 2 main towers and 2 side spans, and then contract 2 for the main spans. The item today is for construction of contract 1. Work involves construction of the seismic retrofit for the following items: main tower leg base, the main tower roadway strut, strengthening of the stiffening truss, retrofit of suspender rope supports, floor beam strengthening and modification, cross strut lateral retrofit, transverse kicker strengthening, placement of the top lateral bracing, retrofit of the bottom level bracing, removal of the existing floor beam center struts, removal of existing outrigger truss, installation of new longitudinal struts, replacement of roadway thermal expansion finger joints with seismic isolation joints, installation of 28 solid-state energy dissipation devices, north and south pylon interface strengthening, main tower interface strengthening, windlass support retrofit, replacement of select roadway deck pedestals, rocker link retrofit, installation of new access systems so we'll be able to maintain and inspect the energy dissipation devices, cleaning and painting of structural steel, including lead paint abatement, south tower facade repairs and painting of the south tower above the roadway, installation of temporary access platforms during the construction, utility modifications, bridge lane closures and traffic control, maintaining pedestrian bicycle access, and compliance with the National Park Service special use permit and also the environmental permit requirements. So the project team has completed the pre-construction phase for contract 1, including finalizing all the construction drawings, special provisions, technical specs, schedule, and contract documents. Based upon the final documents, the CMGC, ICE, and the design engineer have all developed a construction price proposal for the work. So unlike the previous opinion of probable construction cost estimates, the CPP included D-plug for subcontractor, supplier, and fabricator. And those were submitted to the CMGC in accordance with the approved subcontracting plan. September 23rd and 24th of this year, as part of the CMGC process, the project teams met to review and reconcile any pricing differences between the 3 different CPPs. In addition, a risk register was developed during the pre-construction services, which had a listing of potential project risk and estimated cost and probability of such risk occurring during the work, estimated the price for each risk, and proposed who would have the ownership of each of the risks. After the meeting, engineering staff met with the CMGC and entered into final negotiation in terms of the contract in order to reach a construction agreed price or a cap. So for contract number 1, engineering staff and the CMGC have agreed on a cap in the amount of $863,949,008. In accordance with FHWA and Caltrans procurement method for CMGC process, the cap must be compared against the independent cost estimators, CPP, and also the design engineers, CPP, to determine if it's fair and reasonable. And as listed in the report, the cap is within 4.63% of the engineer's estimate and within 2.95% of the ICE's CPP. Engineering staff reviewed all 3 of these proposals and cost estimates and determined that the cap amount for contract 1 scope is fair and reasonable. As part of the construction or pre-construction phase, in accordance with the CMGC PSA for the pre-construction services, CMGC also prepared a subcontracting plan and a disadvantaged business enterprise engagement plan. On October 3rd, however, the United States Department of Transportation issued an interim final rule regarding the DBE program. That resulted in the removal of any DBE goals for the project and also the counting of DBE participation. So all DBEs are reevaluated and DBE certification for all firms are redone under new standards found in Section 26.111 of the IFR. So therefore, any DBE-related forms, goals, or commitments submitted prior to the effective date of the IFR are considered invalid and will not be taken into account in the award of this contract number 1. Engineering staff has reviewed the above and all of the documents submitted during the pre-construction phase and determined that Halmar International has fulfilled the requisite CMGC pre-construction requirements and have submitted an acceptable cap. Based on the above findings, the district engineer recommends that the Building and Operating Committee recommend that the Board of Directors approve authorizing award of contract number 2025-B052, Golden Gate Suspension Bridge, Seismic Retrofit Contract 1, North and South Towers, the North and South Sides Fence to Halmar International, the amount of $863,949,008, subject to the district receiving Caltrans and FHWA approval of the award recommendation. The district engineer also recommends that a construction contingency budget be established for contract 25B052 in the amount of $41,350,000. This amount is based upon the risks which were identified during the pre-construction phase and agreed to by both parties, the CMGC and the district, and the ownership of the risk and are included in the contract risk register. I also like to bring up that recommendations for construction management services associated with the administration of the construction contract, which include engineering design support services, environmental monitoring services, scheduling support services, field inspection support, also shop inspection quality assurance services, will be presented at future committee meetings. The fiscal impact associated with this. So project 2520 is included in the fiscal year 25-26 bridge division in the amount of $870 million, funded with $395.7 million in Bridge Investment Program federal funds, $200 million in Caltrans Federal Highway Bridge Program funds, and $274.3 million in district reserves. Proposed actions relative to the award of this contract will result in $141,726,000 increase in total project budget. And the tables included in the report describe how these amounts would be allocated and also shows the proposed revised project funding, which would have a 39% federal bridge investment program, 40% Caltrans, and 41% district reserve share. That I'm happy to answer any questions the committee may have.
John, thank you for your comprehensive and Herculean report. Are there any questions or comments from our directors at this time? Go ahead, Jim.
Thank you, John. That's quite a report and certainly not chunk change. I think on the list of tasks is painting the South Tower.
Yes.
However, the North Tower is starting to look a bit like it's not getting enough love. So when might that be on the list for painting?
Currently, it's not on the short-term list of any projects. As we have brought up in the past, if you look at the towers, the outside of the towers have a facade.
Yeah.
Project all discussed, which is a non-structural element. And I know it is important to keep up appearances, but we have other structural repairs, including the main span, which is going to be a subsequent project to this one.
Mm-hmm.
So as funding allows, it will come up on the list.
Okay. And when public asks, we'll tell them soon.
Yeah.
Or later. Or
Whenever.
I don't know, later. All right. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes.
No, it's just an amazing report. And just my hats off to your staff, to Dennis and all the work that was done in DC and Sacramento. It's been Herculean effort is definitely a word that comes to mind. So thank you. And this is a huge thing for us, and I'm looking forward to getting this rolling. But
Thank you.
It's a lot of work.
I do appreciate all the support that the board directors had, also the general manager, getting the Cal OSHA exemption. We have to award this contract by the end of the calendar year in order to maintain that exemption for this project. And so that was very important. And it's a big number, but it would have been a bigger number without that. So I do want to thank everyone.
Dennis, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, John, for the update. I'm looking at page 7, and you may be going to talk about this in the future. The prime contract with a 16% increase, but looking at construction services and district staff labor, that was much larger proposed adjustments based on percentages. And I just wondered if you covered that, or in the future you could cover it.
On the increase in the staff.
Proposed adjustment, for
Correct.
consultant services was double, and staff labor was more than double.
So we, budget for 25-20 was established quite a number of years ago. And we looked at what our burn rate was for the seismic or for the suicide deterrent project and what our consultants and other CE costs were associated with that. And then this job is approximately a 6-year project. So we looked at those rates. We're going to have approximately the same type of staff and ran that out through 6 years. And that's how we came up with this budget.
If I may, if you look at the combined of the consultant and district staff, it's about 10% of the construction contract. And that's actually in the ballpark. So another way to look at it is what's the cost of administering the contract? And most agencies, use between 10 and 15% in terms of how they budget.
So it's not necessarily related to the contract increase cost, it's the whole project. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, John. I'm always in information overload when you present, but I tried to pick out something I cared about, and I should know this, and John knows I'm a big fan of his, so in a way I'm ribbing a little bit here. When do we expect to get the Caltrans and FHWA approvals?
When? I'm hoping to get it in a couple of weeks.
Oh, really, that soon? Okay.
The largest issue with Caltrans, it's just primarily Caltrans, is in the subcontracting and DBE participation, typically. And so with that part of it taken out of the equation right now, they have been involved with everything else, and so I don't anticipate any real.
Oh, good. So the DBE part has already been resubmitted?
Right.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Anyone else?
Thank you so much for your hard work on this.
Thank you, Barb and John. That concludes discussion on item number 3. Before we take our vote, is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on this item here present?
I have no speaker cards for speakers in the room. And I have no speakers on the public line with Justine. I just checked in with her.
Thank you. May I have a motion on agenda item number 3?
So moved.
Second.
Great. Thank you. And Madam Secretary, please do a roll call vote.
Thank you. Starting with Director Devlin,
Aye.
Garbarina,
Aye.
Giudice,
Yes.
Hardeman is absent. Hernandez,
Yes.
Maston.
Aye.
Moulton Peters is absent. Park,
Yes.
Parrish,
Aye.
Verdoni,
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
It only counts as one.
Good going.
Not Chicago.
Thayer is absent. Second Vice President Bradley is absent. First Vice President Hill. And President Cochran.
Yes.
Thank you. That's 11 votes for an aye. For you,
All right, that item passes. We will continue now to item number 4, which is to authorize approval of contract change order number 2 to contract number 2024F010, San Francisco Ferry Terminal West and East Berth Ramp Rehabilitation with Manson Construction Company. The staff report begins on page 5, and John will also present this report. Go ahead, John.
Thank you. This item, I'm here to recommend that the Building and Operating Committee recommend that the Board of Directors authorize approval of contract change order number 2, contract number 2024F010, San Francisco Ferry Terminal West and East Berth Ramp Rehabilitation with Manson Construction Company. The estimated amount of $914,155 for repairs to the San Francisco Ferry Terminal East Berth camel structure, with the understanding that sufficient funds are available in the fiscal year 25-26 Ferry Division capital budget for project 2443, San Francisco Ferry Terminal West and East Berth Ramp Rehabilitation, to budget to fund CCO number 2. So in June of 2021, during an inspection at the San Francisco facility, a crack was identified in the East Berth, and subsequent inspections in July of that year revealed additional cracks at both the East and West berths, and the berths were taken out of service. During that time, we identified that the cracks at the West berth were not as severe as the East berth, and the project was put together to complete the work there in 2022, at which time the West structure was open. The damage at the East structure was much more extensive, and additional repairs had to be developed. So the district and its design consultant put together a package, plan specification, and put out a bid. And on October 24th, the Board of Directors authorized the award of construction contract 2024F010 to Manson Construction for the work. So the project includes rehabilitation of the hydraulics on both systems, but also all the structural repairs on the East berth. Those were the primary findings during our original inspections. However, the original inspections focused just on the berths and ramps and supports, but further investigations were done on other structures in the area, and it was found that the camel structure was also in need of repair. So camel structure is on the water side of the ramp, and it consists of floating structures that function as a barrier between the ramp itself and the vessels. So the vessels come up and lay up against these so they don't damage the ramp. They're about 40 foot long. There's 2 of them, 6 foot wide. They have a steel truss, and there's a flotation device under them. They also have collars around fixed piles, and the tide goes up and down, and the collars have roadblocks which allow the structure to move with the tide. When the contractor was performing some field verifications for the contract work on the East berth, the Ferry Division and engineering staff went out and did some more in-depth inspections and discovered deficiencies, primarily in the flotation system. The flotation system is waterlogged, and so what that means is it doesn't float. And so the camels list to one side, they don't operate and function properly, and they have actually been stuck out there. And when they're stuck, one side is high, one side is low, and a vessel is not allowed to come up and lay up on it. And we've had to do other operations to get it to start functioning again. So it was determined repairs really need to be made. We're doing all this work to address the East berth ramp, but we don't want to put it in service and then have problems with the camels. The Ferry Division engineering staff determined a scope of work to complete this. And unfortunately, the work cannot be done in place. The floats are in the water and underneath the structure, so Work includes lifting, transporting to an offsite facility, doing the repairs on an offsite facility, removing and replacing flotation devices. Then we're going to blast and paint and clean. There's utility work. And then there's some other work adjusting the roadblocks around the piles to make sure that it functions. So scope of work was put together. Some plans were put together, and in accordance with the general condition sections of the contract, a price was requested from the contractor to perform the work. The work for CCO2 has two different aspects to it. One of them, we could get a fixed price from the contractor because you can readily understand and see what the work entails. The other part is for aspects of the kennel which are underwater, and it's difficult to understand exactly what the damage and repair it would entail. So for one portion, we negotiated a proposal in the amount of $732,155 to remove the kennel, do the surface coating and pontoon repair work. And then there's a second part at a time and material force account aspect to do repairs to steel supports, grading, roadblocks due to the limited access to get a firm understanding of the scope and a firm price. Engineering reviewed both of these and determined that these are fair and reasonable and appropriate for the work involved, and recommends that the Building Operating Committee recommend that the Board of Directors authorize approval of CCO number 2. The estimated amount of $914,155 to contract number 2024 F010, utilizing funds that are already available in Project 2443. Project 2443 was in the budget previously, and in this last budget cycle, we identified that there probably were going to be additional repairs necessary. So when the budget was adopted, it was an additional $1 million that was added, increased the budget from $10,402,284 to $11,402,284. That was in anticipation of finding these additional deterioration and heating repairs. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you once again, John, for your report. Are there any questions or comments from colleagues this time? Seeing none, that concludes whatever discussion on item number 4. Before we take our vote, is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on this item?
We have no speakers on this item.
Thank you. May I have a motion on agenda item number 4?
So moved.
There's a second. There is a second. Thank you. Madam Secretary, please a roll call vote.
Thank you. Starting with Director Devlin.
Aye.
Barberino.
Aye.
Giudice.
Yes.
Hartman is absent. Hernandez.
Aye.
Maston.
Aye.
Holden Peters is absent. Clark.
Aye.
Parrish.
Aye.
Rodoni.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
Steer is absent. Second Vice President Rabbit is absent. First Vice President Hill. Aye. Thank you.
Aye.
President Cochran.
Yes.
Thank you. That's 11 ayes on item number 4.
Thank you, Amarat. Thank you, John, again. We will continue now on to item number 5, which is to approve actions relative to the Hastas upgrade project. The staff report begins on page 15, and Fong Lu will also present this report. Fong, please begin once you settle in.
Morning, Chair and members of committee. Today before you is an item that the Building and Operating Committee recommends to the Board of Directors take appropriate actions relative to HAS upgrade. So we're talking about 4 action items. 1, to approve an amendment to contract number 2011-BT-04, Hastas maintenance and support. This is to add a task order process to the scope and continue our maintenance and support all the way through June 30th, 2030. And this is in the amount of $837,057. 2, approve award of task order 1 against contract number 2011-BT-04 to Zero Incorporation of Montreal, Canada, for professional services and licensing to upgrade the Hastas from version 2018 to 2025. This is in the amount of $1,246,365. 3, to approve the award of contract number 2025-BT-098 for Hestis Managed Cloud Hosting Services. This is in the amount of $286,560 for 1 year of cloud hosting. Last but not least, to authorize the general manager to exercise future renewals of contract 2025-BT-098 to continue hosting services for Hestis, provide that the funding is sufficient and allocated in the budget, annual budget process, and of course, such extensions are going to be in the best interest of the district. And this matter will be presented at the October 24th, tomorrow's board meeting. So Hestis is a very critical bus planning as well as scheduling system. We use Hestis for many operational functionalities as well as interfaces with payroll. We implemented Hestis back in 1997. So we have been using the system for easily a couple of decades. And lots of investments from technology perspective as well as financial perspective has gone into this product because of the criticality of this application serving our transit division. In 2018, we underwent a major upgrade that took a couple years and brought the system up to date to version 2018. Now, time flies. It's 2025. We're really due to have another major upgrade in order to bring the system up to date and leverage a number of critical benefits, which I'm going to mention a little later. So the recommendation first is to amend the contract for the maintenance and support, because after the upgrade, the proposed upgrade is going to take another couple years, and after that we are going to be out of support. So it would be a wise action to take right now to extend our support contract to 2030, so we can lock our best rates, and especially we know we are going to need the contract until after the upgrade. So the next recommendation is to fund and execute number 2025-BT-098 for managed cloud hosting. So this is what I mentioned earlier on for many benefits that we're going to leverage for this upgrade, since we are migrating from on-premise to the cloud. Many of these benefits include 24/7 infrastructure environment support for Hestis, the high availability and uptime, and really reduction of our database administration, our local databases, among many other benefits. Which is disaster recovery strategies, so on and so forth. So since Hestis or Jira is partnered with Microsoft for their cloud services, there is a restriction that we can only have the contract at yearly basis, which means every year we will have to renew. But that's not uncommon. So just wanting to point that out. And then for financial impact, the Hestis upgrade is already included in the capital project 2612, and it's in the budget of fiscal year 25 and 26. We have sufficient funds in the capital project to support actions related to this upgrade. The funding is 100% district funded. Details of the funding, as well as the history of this big contract, amendments, as well as proposed amendments to the contract to support this upgrade, are listed in the following tables. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you so much for your report. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues at this time? Seeing none, that concludes whatever discussion on item number 5. Before we take our vote, though, is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on this item?
We have no speakers for this item.
Thank you again. May I have a motion on agenda item number 5?
So
moved.
Second.
Cool. Thank you, Madam Secretary. A roll call vote, please.
Thank you. Starting with Director Devlin. Ms. Absent, just stepped out. Barbarino.
Aye.
Giudice.
Yes.
Hardiman is absent. Hernandez.
Aye.
Maston.
Aye.
Moulton Peters is absent. Parr.
Aye.
Parrish.
Aye.
Rodoni.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
Thier is absent. Second Vice President Rabbit is absent. First Vice President Hill.
Yeah.
President Cochran.
Yes.
Thank you. That's 10 ayes.
Thank you, Elmaret. We will continue now on to item number 6, which is an informational monthly report from board appointees on the Sonoma-Marin Area Rail Transit Board. And I'll start off on the report with an update from our report from our meeting of October 15, in which we were able to celebrate the fact that our ridership recovery rate is the highest in the country, which is huge for that little train that could. So I wanted to share that for sure. We also had a comprehensive report on mascots. And in addition to that, we had a bit of a shuttle report as well, and found that 95% of the folks using the shuttle in Larkspur are actually going from the ferry to Smart. 5 are also being taken into Corte Madera and Country Mart. Interestingly, at the stop in Petaluma, 77%, correct me if I'm wrong, Garb, of the flight seats at the Santa Rosa Airport got there via the shuttle. So that's a phenomenon, which is great. In addition to that, pathways, very important to many of the folks in Marin and Sonoma, are completed at a rate of 71%. There are 4 new pathways that are being proposed: Airport to Windsor, Petaluma to Pengrove, Petaluma to Santa Rosa, McGinnis Park to, I can't really remember what, it's just blank in my sheet, but I'll get back to you on that. The funded segments that are in process are still 6. Planned and in design are 7 segments, and open segments are 2, which represent 8 miles. And in another segment at 15.6 miles. Also, bike ridership is up 28%. So that's my report. It was all positive and good. Yes, especially for you, Bert. Yeah, all good. Thank you. Thank you. Any questions or comments on the SMART report?
Yes, you just left the most important part out.
Oh.
The bike and pedestrian path from Roanoke Park to Santa Rosa is now complete.
That must be the one in the blank. Thank you. I owe you. Thank you very much.
Comprehensive transportation plan as we move forward on it.
And I was paying abject attention, so thank you so much. Thank you. Any other questions or comments, Jim? Yes.
Yeah. Any comment on the Jennings Avenue crossing issue?
Oh, so hoping you would ask. So, yeah.
Well, that's in the paper, so.
It was in the newspaper. I'm going to turn that one over to Barb. It has, so I can stick a long history to it. I might just say it's a conundrum. The safety committee of the PUC did not find it safe. However, the PUC judge did. So it's really quite a conundrum. Barb, do you have a
That's all I've got to say. We talk about it in closed session. It's coming up again. We've been given till the end of December to work something out with Santa Rosa. I think I know the hearts of the board members and why they voted the way they have. I wouldn't presume to tell you what will happen, other than that Eddie is an amazing negotiator. He's a good listener. He's been in contact with the city of Santa Rosa. We do have at least one Santa Rosa City Council member on our board. You can look it up. So it gets a little complex. It's the paper said this, so this is not a secret, but it's all about the at-grade crossings. Historically, and even with the CPUC, they rule that the at-grade crossings are not the safest, and they like to not add them. This is an at-grade crossing, those of you that know Jennings. It's about a third of a mile from the next crossing, which is down by the shopping center. There's a nursery school and an elementary school on this side. Then there's a 2-train crossing, 2 tracks, 2 trains within a certain amount of time on each one. And then there's a huge neighborhood over here of children that cross to go over there. I'll talk with you offline about what I think, I think it's fair to say that we're trying desperately to make it work. And that definition is different for each organization, I think. But they're still in conversation, which I think is positive. We've been given, till the end of December to work it out. So stay tuned.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
It's hard work.
Yeah.
I mean, those, you send us off to SMART and we talk about the shuttles and all that, but it's hard work. And in this day and age, where we have some leadership in Washington that makes decisions based on things that some of us don't agree with, that makes it even more challenging, because it's basically the PUC telling us you will do it, and our board saying, well, let's talk about it. And that may not work in this area.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
I might also.
Does that sound right?
It sounded
accurate.
Yeah, I might also add that we were told that generally speaking, trains, if they're going to put in one new at-grade crossing, take out 2 at-grade crossings because of the safety concerns. As far as the heart goes, I'm so glad you mentioned the elementary school. I would encourage anyone here to take a site visit.
Absolutely. Call Eddie. He'll take you over there. The trains come through, of course, at different times, and they're carefully planned, and there's only a minute or 2 between them. But one of the trains, as you stand there, one of the trains comes over a little rise, so that you don't really have a clear view of that train until it's almost at the crossing. So I do encourage you to go. It's an interesting trip. You have to walk about a quarter of a mile to get to it. But if you care about why people are making the decisions that we're going to make, go look. He'd love to take you.
I might also add another personal comment that one of the concerns, a very strong one, is what happens to the lives of the engineers and conductors after an accident.
Yes.
So,
And right now it's a liability issue. That's what the UC sent us back to work on. I don't know what that looks like. We'll leave that to the guys that make the big bucks to make those decisions, and we'll tell them whether we think they're right. And
Yeah, I appreciate your comment there, because I think they're taking off. And we, Local 3 represents those folks. It's a lot of mental anguish.
yes,
I know we just had another death.
and the amount of time that engineers take off after they've had a strike, they call it, is staggering. It's like 3 to 4 or 5 weeks. It's got to be awful.
If they can even come back. So we would welcome any input, but since there's also no action required for item number 6, we'll continue on to item number 7, which is status report on engineering projects that begin on page 27. And John is here to present the report. Welcome again, John.
Thank you. My written report is for you, and I'd just like to bring your attention to a few items. Back work continues on the bridge itself. Suicide deterrent project. Contractor is still removing access platforms from spans 1 and 2. Another item, the staff and the electrical engineering consultant have finalized the drawings and scope of work for the bridge electrical repairs. So we're sending out that scope of work tomorrow for pricing. We're requesting pricing in 2 weeks, after which we will then hopefully negotiate a contract and get to work on that. We're still experiencing delays in our San Rafael bus employee parking lot project, receiving Buy America compliant chargers. So the contractor and their supplier placed these orders many months ago. They still have not arrived. Now they're saying they're not going to arrive until late December. So we're trying to figure out what's going on with that, but that's put a delay in that project completing. And then on the ferry projects in San Francisco, the contractor performed the first concrete pour of the pier repair work. So they're prepping to do the next pour. And then at the Larkspur Ferry Terminal, the berths that are out of service are being repaired, and hopefully we'll get berth number 1 back in service in about a month or so. And with that, I'm happy to answer any other questions on my report.
Thank you again, John. Colleagues, any questions for John on his engineering report? Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have a question so much as I want to acknowledge, John, thank you for your reports. And also, your reports are including more graphics and bullet points, and that really simplifies things for me, and I really enjoy those. But I also wanted to acknowledge I had an opportunity to go visit some of the sites here at the district this week. I was particularly impressed by some of the work I saw going on that will support the replacement transformers. I wanted to acknowledge the ironworkers who are currently building a giant, just massive steel structure that will become part of the support for the transformer. As of course, as an electrician and IBEW folks, we're very interested in making sure that's done safely, and I know that you're taking every precaution and every action to make sure that goes in as safely and quickly as possible. So it was very impressive, and I'd encourage anyone on the board to make an appointment with any of our DGMs with any questions, particularly our shop here on site. It was fascinating to tour. Also got a chance to talk to some painters and lift some really heavy cans of paint, and it just sort of it amplifies. All of the folks that make the district run, all of the people in every division, whether they're working at a computer or lifting those heavy cans of paint, they're critically important. We need to recognize their contributions on a minute by minute basis here at the Bridge District. Some of whom work, some of whom are on the property 24 hours. So it's just great to be out there and meet them. But I appreciate your efforts to be on top of the emergency transformer and as the mid repair and watch for the rest of that to come through. But it's great to meet folks. Great to see some of the different folks in action on the bridge. And it's always special for me when I get to talk to any of our employees. Thank you.
Anyone else?
And it's all heavy lifting, isn't it?
Okay, there's no action associated with item number 7. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on this item, or anyone from this committee wishing to speak on item number 8, the public comment?
We have no speakers on the item or for public comment.
Well, thank you. With that, we've reached the end of the agenda. May I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Hearing no objections, that concludes the meeting of the Building and Operating Committee. The time is 11:28.